Welcome to Energy Matters, sponsored by New Jersey Policy Institute. I'm Jeanette Hoffman. Today, we're kicking off our new Made in America series, a deep dive into how New Jersey can strengthen its manufacturing sector, create good-paying jobs, and compete in a rapidly changing global economy. Manufacturing has long been a cornerstone of New Jersey's economy, and right now, the state stands at a critical crossroads. From rising energy demands and supply chain challenges to workforce shortages and new opportunities in advanced manufacturing, aerospace, defense, and clean energy, the decisions made in Trenton will shape the future of thousands of jobs across the state. Standing by is Peter Connolly, CEO of New Jersey's Manufacturing Extension Program. His organization just released its latest State of the Manufacturing Industry report, which highlights both the challenges and opportunities facing manufacturers across the state. But first, we're joined by Senator Michael Testa, co-chair of the New Jersey Legislative Manufacturing Caucus. Senator Testa recently introduced the next New Jersey Manufacturing Program alongside Senator Linda Greenstein, aimed at incentivizing in-state manufacturing and job creation. He'll share his perspective on what the state can do to reclaim its position as a manufacturing leader. I'm here with Senator Michael Testa, who is the co-chair of New Jersey's Legislative Manufacturing Caucus. Senator Testa, thanks so much for being here.
Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, well, we have so much to talk about, and we are kicking off a Made in America series. And I know you've often referenced the iconic Trenton Makes the World Take sign as a symbol of New Jersey's manufacturing heritage. So let me ask, what can New Jersey do today to reclaim its position as a manufacturing leader?
So look, I think we really need to take a long, hard look at the corporate business tax, which is 11.5%, and take a look at the state of Pennsylvania, which by 2031, under Governor Josh Shapiro's leadership, they're going to have a 4.99% corporate business tax. That's something that we absolutely need to take a long, hard look at in reducing the corporate business tax. But we also have to look at the incentives that are available today under the next New Jersey Manufacturing Program, which was a bill that I was the prime sponsor of, and the co-prime sponsor was my counterpart in the Legislative Manufacturing Caucus, Senator Linda Greenstein.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about that bill that incentivizes in-state manufacturing and job creation, the next New Jersey Manufacturing Program. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Sure. I mean, this bill was really designed to attract very large manufacturers to stay in the state of New Jersey, to scale in the state of New Jersey, and to expand their workforce, but also to potentially repatriate some of the very large manufacturers that had moved offshore and made huge investments in foreign countries. And you stated it best at the very beginning, and I quote that iconic line on the Trenton Bridge that says, "Trenton makes the world takes." We have to make that really mean something again. We need large employers. We want things made right here in the United States of America. And being that I'm the co-chair of the Manufacturing Caucus, we want it made right here in the Garden State.
Absolutely. And you talked about corporate business taxes. Everyone knows New Jersey has the highest business taxes in the entire country, but also many manufacturers cite energy costs as a huge challenge. So how important is affordable and reliable energy to attracting and retaining manufacturing jobs in New Jersey?
I mean, it's a massive issue in all of the states that are, sort of members of the PJM. And this is something that I've been speaking about since I ran for office in 2019. I called Governor Murphy's Energy Master Plan the Energy Disaster Plan. I think we're just starting to see the ravages of shutting down energy production in the state of New Jersey. I've stated this many times, in fact, with interviews with you, that we used to be an energy exporter in the state of New Jersey. Now we're importing about 40% of our energy. That is really bad policy. In South Jersey, we shut down about 1,100 megawatts of production with nothing to replace it. So it's really a simple supply-demand issue. And, unfortunately, we're seeing the bad results of really bad policy. You have, Campbell's Soup is no longer making soup in the state of New Jersey. You have Johnson & Johnson investing $2 billion for a facility in North Carolina, also investing billions of dollars in the state of Pennsylvania to manufacture pharmaceuticals there. You have Eli Lilly making massive investments in the state of Pennsylvania. we have to do a much better job of not only retaining the businesses that we have here. There's about 9,500 manufacturers in the state of New Jersey already, but we have to start being able to compete with our neighboring states to attract businesses to the state of New Jersey, because we are so uniquely situated for transport by roadway, and by obviously waterway with our great port system that we have.
Yeah, absolutely. And talking about supply and demand for energy, demand isn't going anywhere, and it's in fact growing with AI, data centers, and more electrification. So what steps do you think New Jersey should take to ensure that manufacturers have access to the energy they need to remain competitive?
I think we need to look to the future, because right now in the natural gas sector, if you were to attempt to build a new natural gas production facility, the turbines are about 6 to 7 years out if you ordered them today. I think we really need to take a long, hard look at small modular reactors from manufacturers like Holtec right out of Camden, New Jersey. I think that really is a long-term solution to a problem that has been looming for a number of years. The unfortunate aspect of that is that the regulatory scheme is probably anywhere between 6 and 8 years out from now. But had they listened to folks like Senator Declan O'Scanlan, myself, who were really waving the red flag saying, hey, this is a problem. I've been in the legislature now 7 years. I was talking about this in 2019 when I ran for office. They should have listened. And unfortunately, right now, people in my position who had shouted that warning from the rooftops, we get to say, I told you so. But that's not a long-term solution. I think the long-term solution is bringing energy production back to the state of New Jersey in the form of natural gas, something that we know is reliable, not intermittent, and cost-effective. And also we have to look to long-term solutions like small modular reactors, or as many people are calling it now, next generation nuclear.
Yeah, we definitely need that supply. Let's talk about some of the industries in advanced manufacturing in New Jersey. There's significant opportunities in aerospace, defense, food processing, advanced manufacturing. Which sectors do you believe are poised for the greatest growth over the next decade in manufacturing in New Jersey?
Well, look, I think all of them are, honestly. I mean, because we are so uniquely situated, and we have about 40,000 vacant manufacturing jobs right now. So when young people are saying, I can't find a job, I say to them, you must not be looking very hard, because those 40,000 vacancies that currently exist, they are not just an initial job, they are career builders and with massive upward mobility. Because an individual, a young person, or someone transitioning from another career can get into manufacturing and have stackable credentials with their local community college system. And we have a great community college system here in the state of New Jersey. And I have to say, the pioneer of manufacturing as far as the community college system is concerned is the County College of Morris. They've done a fantastic job. And look, I'm an attorney. I don't like to reinvent the wheel. I said that Morris County can be the North Pole. I want Cumberland County to be the South Pole. And we have an advanced manufacturing wing being built right here in the city of Vineland at what used to be called Cumberland County College. It's Rowan College of South Jersey in partnership with our CC Tech, Cumberland County Technical School. You also see Rowan University investing millions upon millions of dollars for a new manufacturing, sector of their university. So manufacturing really needs to be a priority to everyone in the state of New Jersey, because what's great about it is our young people won't be riddled with 4-year college debt if they get into the manufacturing sector and they have a job that actually pays them a living wage, and they can really earn while they learn if they choose to go for an associate's degree or a 4-year university degree while they're working.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting you brought up that point about county colleges really stepping up in terms of workforce development. We were recently on location at the Exxon Paulsboro lubricant plant in Paulsboro with Assemblywoman Heather Simmons, who does a lot of work with Rowan's County College in workforce development, and she was talking about that exact same situation. But let me also talk about another issue that manufacturers frequently talk about, which is the burden of regulations and permitting delays. I hear a lot of talk about that in Trenton as well. What specific reforms would you like to see to make New Jersey more business friendly in that regard?
Look, I think we need to even follow Senator Vingo Powell's leadership that he had a number of years ago with the Red Tape Commission. You know, I
Yeah.
have to be honest and give kudos where kudos are due, and that became the Gear Commission, in my understanding. That's something we really need to take a long, hard look at because we need to be competitive. That's one of the main reasons the difficulty and how long it takes to be able to get a large facility built is why Johnson and Johnson moved a major manufacturing facility, or I shouldn't say moved, is building a brand new $2 billion manufacturing facility in the state of North Carolina because of how long it will take to build in the state of New Jersey. And you know, and I fear this because Johnson and Johnson is somewhat synonymous with the state of New Jersey. But when you're investing $2 billion in North Carolina, in one of the statements that I've heard from them is that it's going to take them about 3 years to build in North Carolina. And if they were to do that in New Jersey, it would take 7 years. That's a real problem. We are losing major investment in the state of New Jersey. We're losing a ton of great jobs. And unfortunately, look, we've seen a number of major manufacturers exit the state of New Jersey, Anheuser-Busch, ExxonMobil. And this goes across administrations with Mercedes-Benz USA, Progresso from my beloved hometown of Vineland. We can't continue to bleed out great jobs and great manufacturing in the state of New Jersey. And unfortunately, I heard a really disturbing comment made in the assembly, not in the Senate, by an assemblyman that said, good riddance to some of those really good, high-paying jobs in the state of New Jersey. It's just so short-sighted and just really an unfortunate take on what the economic landscape is in the state of New Jersey.
Yeah, Senator, I heard that same comment in reference to the climate Superfund bill, which is a really misguided piece of legislation that unfortunately I think will force more employers to seek shelter in other states. But I wanted to close by asking you if you could enact one major policy initiative to support manufacturing, create jobs, and strengthen New Jersey's overall economy, what would it be and why?
It would be the corporate business tax. I would make it extremely competitive with the state of Pennsylvania because right now the state of Pennsylvania, to be frank, is eating our lunch when it comes to attracting large investment, large businesses who are going to be providing great paying careers with upward mobility for a lot of people. New Jersey already has an affordability problem. That's what our governor ran on. So, we have to at least acknowledge the elephant in the room and say we have to do a much better job at making the state of New Jersey an attractive place for businesses to move and give the businesses that are here a reason to stay. Because if they are going to stay here, they will reinvest here. I think of a wonderful manufacturer like the Mars Corporation in Hackettstown. They have been in a 5-year span, they plan to invest a total of about $650 million. That's 1,100 jobs. Think about that. They have 1,100 jobs full-time that are working there, 1,100 careers, and yet they are continuing to invest. Other manufacturers are seeing greener pastures in other states like Pennsylvania, like North Carolina, and they're moving there. We have to stop the bleeding.
Well, thank you. These are really important thoughts that are critical to New Jersey's economy. Thanks for joining us, Senator Testa. We hope you'll come back soon.
Thanks for having me. I plan to be back soon.
Great. Up next, I sit down with Peter Connolly, CEO of New Jersey's Manufacturing Extension Program, who just released the State of the Manufacturing Industry report. He'll explain how reshoring trends, AI on the factory floor, and the push for affordable energy are reshaping opportunities for manufacturers across the Garden State. As we kick off the Made in America series here on Energy Matters, I'm joined by Peter Connolly, CEO of New Jersey Manufacturing Extension Program, to talk about the state of the industry in New Jersey. Peter, thanks so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me, Jeanette.
Yeah, well, let's get right to it. We can dive into your recently released State of the Manufacturing Industry report. Now, the report notes that manufacturing supports more than 403,000 jobs, direct jobs in New Jersey. So how important is manufacturing to the state's economy today? And do you think that our legislators and policymakers fully appreciate its impact?
Yes and no. So It's a huge impact, and whether you talk food manufacturing, transportation, logistics, and our life sciences pharma business, it is huge, and it is an impact to about $25 billion to the state's economy. We are working with state legislators. They are helping and assisting, but we can do more. And there's issues that affect businesses in New Jersey. One of them is the corporate business tax. Absolutely. New Jersey has the highest corporate business tax in the nation. We rank 49th in the most business friendliest. We have a corporate transit fee. I know you met with Senator Testa before. He doesn't call it New Jersey Transit, he calls it North Jersey Transit. But
That's a good point.
Yeah, and they're trying to work that there's more transportation to get employees to their workforce.
Yeah, so you bring up some very good points about affordability in New Jersey's business climate. One of the report's other major themes is uncertainty. From tariffs and trade policy to supply chain disruptions, how are New Jersey manufacturers adapting to this constantly changing environment?
It's very, very tough. And uncertainty is a great term because Wall Street hates uncertainty, employers hate uncertainty. And tariffs is the best thing. It changes daily.
Yeah.
And you don't know if you're raising prices, if you're getting stuff, where you're pulling it from. We are trying to bring back onshore a lot of those companies, but it takes time.
Yeah.
But uncertainty is the toughest.
Absolutely. So when we talk about made in America, let's talk about reshoring and domestic capacity expansion. It's one of the biggest trends shaping the industry right now. Are you seeing manufacturers actually bringing production back to the United States?
Absolutely. There's a company in New Brunswick, and I can't remember the name, but have a business in Canada that they're bringing back.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, and it's a healthcare company.
Great. Well, what do those reshoring opportunities mean for New Jersey in terms of jobs?
It's helping, but we're also losing jobs. I'll take Johnson & Johnson. They're never going to leave New Jersey, but they just built a $2 billion plant in South Carolina. They're building a big plant in Pennsylvania. They're not building plants in New Jersey. We lost Anheuser-Busch.
Yes.
We lost Samsung. So the bigger companies are leaving, and we're trying to keep the smaller companies here.
And is that mostly because of the cost of doing business, or is it because of the delays in expansion in New Jersey? What are the factors?
I think it's a multitude. I think New Jersey has not been the business friendliest. We have a great high school system. We have a great university system. We have more engineers per square capital than any other state. But we're losing it because of state budget issues. Funding the pension fund is costing us $7 billion a year. New York's pension fund, they fund at $1 billion. So for those number of years that we did not fund it, we're paying the price now.
Yeah, that's a huge cost. Energy is also a major focus of this program. The report discusses New Jersey's evolving all of the above energy strategy, including nuclear energy. How critical is affordable, reliable energy to the future competitiveness of manufacturing?
It's huge. Let's not even get into data centers and how much energy data centers are going to cost.
Yeah.
But we're finding towns can't get enough electricity into their towns. The grid is older. We need to upgrade the grid. Whether it's nuclear, wind, fossil fuels, the grid cannot handle it. We need to upgrade the grid. So there's towns that warehouses and manufacturing facilities can only be on the first floor. They can't go to the second floor. They don't have enough electricity to get up onto the second floor.
Wow.
So it's a big issue. I think the state government made a mistake where we cut off pipelines before we had energy resources to fill in those gaps.
Yeah, so supply and demand remains a critical issue.
We used to be a net, we used to give away electricity, sell it. Now we're importing it from Pennsylvania.
Yeah. And let's talk about clean energy supply chains, new business opportunities there for manufacturers. Which sectors do you think stand to benefit most from investments in solar, storage, energy infrastructure, and other emerging technologies?
Well, manufacturing, food, pharma are those big ones that will support it. New Jersey is a big food manufacturing. Whether you look at Campbell's, whether you look at Delmonico, whether you look at a number of the South Jersey food manufacturers, food is a big issue, is a big business in New Jersey.
Something that's new on our radar screen, somewhat new, AI, artificial intelligence. It's moving from experimentation to actual real-world manufacturing applications. What are some of the most practical ways New Jersey manufacturers are already using AI and automation to improve their productivity?
So the companies that we have worked with AI is on machine learning. So it helps them with their equipment to predict maintenance. So they can take that machine down before and repair and keep it upgraded before it fails. And that's what we see the most. You're starting to see manufacturers use cobots, robots, and start to put AI in that, and backroom office issues. But I'll be honest, AI scares me.
Yeah.
It's just, you start putting AI in robots and who knows what you're going to get.
Yeah, but so we talk about the physical AI, including the robots and intelligence machines. How do you think these can be transformative on the future of the factory floor?
Absolutely. We just have to do it correctly.
Yeah, and not to mention, these data centers do take up a lot of energy, which drives
a lot of energy.
Demand.
And you're seeing it's not in my backyard. Nobody wants a data center in their backyard. Vineland is having one of the biggest ones in the state that they're building now. Nevada, or is it Utah, wants to build one about the size of half of Manhattan, a data center.
But let's talk about workforce development. Manufacturers continue to struggle with workforce shortages and skills gaps. What are employers telling you about this, and how can New Jersey better prepare the next generation of manufacturing workers?
Great question. So we deal with about the 10,000 small, medium manufacturers in New Jersey. We're not dealing with Johnson & Johnson or Campbell's. They can do everything that we do. So there's 40,000 open jobs, and there's a great tsunami going on. Baby boomers are retiring at about 10,000 boomers a week. We have an aging workforce first. So what we're working is, we do get asked a lot to help get employees. What we don't do is take from employer A and give them to employee B. So we are working with county colleges. We are working with a number of organizations to train students as they come out. We have a program called Makers and Creators, where we're going to a high school in every county, and we bring in some manufacturing equipment and employers, and teach and let students know that there's a career in manufacturing. So an entry-level position in manufacturing, you'll probably make about $65,000 a year. Not every student right now is meant for college. College is getting expensive. So we are working with that. We have a plan for next year to take that program to middle schools, teamed with junior achievement. So that's how we're working with employers. We're working apprenticeship programs, training programs. The County College of Morris has a great advanced manufacturing center. We're working with the Cumberland County Tech Education Center, building a similar facility. And the African American Chamber took over one of the Thomas Edison state universities in Trenton. So we're going to have 3 places where we can bring students in to get certified and trained and go out to the workforce.
Yeah, and we had this conversation with Senator Testa earlier in the show that the county colleges are really stepping up in terms of workforce development.
Absolutely. And most of the universities, I'll take Rowan University, they're teamed with the Rowan Colleges of South Jersey, where you go to your county college for 3 years, and you go to Rowan University last year, and you graduate with a degree from Rowan University at like a quarter of a price of higher education.
Yeah, I know a number of community colleges have that.
Yes.
With Middlesex County, with
Correct.
Rutgers. Yeah.
Correct.
That's a fantastic program.
Yes.
Let's transition to cybersecurity. It's become a business requirement than just an IT concern. How significant are the new compliance requirements, and what challenges do they create for manufacturers seeking government and defense contracts?
So the National Institute of Standards and Technology came out with the CMMC cybersecurity. It's changed over the last couple of years, where it was very onerous. Yeah. It's still onerous, but there's 3 phases depending on the size of your company. But you need to so for small manufacturers, it's a burden.
Yeah.
So it's probably our biggest growing business, of assisting companies in their cybersecurity requirements and approvals. but they need it. You cannot get government contracts,
Right.
Especially defense contracts. And the key is you have to go down to your supplier. So if we're dealing with a company that's 15 to 20 people and they're buying something from a company that's 3 people, they have to be certified also.
Gotcha. So it's all the subcontractors, it's not just the main
correct.
manufacturer.
The big issue is certification. There's not enough companies to certify companies, so there's a backlog.
Yeah, I never thought of that.
Yeah.
Well, New Jersey Manufacturing Extension Program has helped manufacturers realize more than $8 billion in economic value and supported tens of thousands of jobs. Looking back over the organization's 30-year history, what accomplishments are you most proud of?
I think we're most proud of the apprenticeship programs that we work with students. Again, we've been doing that for years, and it's great when you walk into a company and see somebody that you recognize from 10 years ago that has a great position in manufacturing. And also highlighting manufacturing to our state representatives that it's a viable industry. We did have one governor a number of years ago, but he said manufacturing is dead in New Jersey.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's not, it's thriving.
That's unfortunate. Yeah, yeah, I mean, it's such a huge part of our economy.
And most people don't realize, most of the companies are 50 people.
Yeah.
And they're all over the, most of it's centered in Bergen, Morris, Passaic County, but South Jersey is a growing area.
Definitely. So my final question to you, if you were advising New Jersey's elected officials on one policy change that would make our state more competitive for manufacturing and job creation, what would be at the very top of your list?
Reduce corporate business taxes.
It's as simple as that.
It's simple, and become a little bit more business friendly.
Yeah.
Governor Sherrill has her, she's doing a 21 county tour. She's changing and trying to reduce regulations. And that's probably the second biggest issue is regulations of what you have to go through with the DEP, Department of Transportation. It's onerous.
Yeah.
It takes time. We had a facility that we were dealing with that had a facility. They were just adding on. Took them 3 years to get permits.
Wow.
At the same time, he was building another facility in Ohio. He was up and running in a year.
Wow. That's really significant.
Right. So that is one of her campaign promises, and she's actually doing it. So now she has a dashboard under the Department of Commerce, Secretary of State, that says how long your process is taking. And so they're starting to monitor that. So they're putting a highlight on other agencies.
Yeah. Well, hopefully that's a step in the right direction.
Yes.
But Peter, thank you so much for being here today and talking about the state of the manufacturing industry in New Jersey as we kick off our Made in America series.
Glad to be here, and thank you.
That does it for today. I'm Jeanette Hoffman. Thanks for watching.